Alright, so we've been playing around with the fabric grip for the Bullnose Mini Cruiser project, and so we really want to try to make that work for real. And so I've purchased a whole bunch of different fabric, and how I'm going to do it is I'm going to try to glue down the entire sheet of fabric onto an entire sheet of wood, and then after that's dried, then I'll be cutting the sheet into the sizes for the individual decks. Alright, so I just rolled out the glue with my little 3-inch roller. We tried all sorts of glues to try to find what's best, and Titebond 3 seems to just do the best job, but you have to put it on pretty heavily because the fabric is really thirsty, and I would really recommend a bigger roller than just 3 inches. Let's see if I can get this put on. That. And just gotta pull it. So that didn't go exactly as planned. The idea was just to lay it on the fabric on the thick layer of glue and have it glue down that way. But because of how stretchy the fabric was, it ended up being really wonky to put down, and well, I had to be able to slide the fabric around to get it to work, and so I had to get it wet. And so we got some parts where glue has bled through, and so I've got some lighter and darker areas. I don't think that'll be a huge concern. In my experience, as it dries, it all tends to even out. But, you know, this is our first go, it was my first go at a full-size sheet, and as we do more of them, I'm sure we'll get better at making it work. So, there we go. So I ended up finishing gluing up all the different fabric, and it's I changed the method a little bit, and this is working really good. So I've got this cutoff here, and if you can imagine if this grip tape and this is a piece of wood, I'd be able to peel it off, but this is really, so I'm really satisfied with that. The fact that the grip is gonna get staying on there. On some of my earlier ways of doing it, so this pile over here with the paisley and the Hawaiian pattern is when I was just doing, you know, I was laying off the fabric for a single board at a time, and the hold down just is not quite as good. You can see I can peel it off, and as long as there's no free edges, it's fine. It's only slightly worse than normal grip tape. But yeah, so with the new method, it seems to be working really well. So, as I mentioned in other videos, and you've probably seen, I'm working on the fabric grip tape. But what I'm going to be doing is doing the fabric top and bottom. So, fabric top, fabric bottom, and then I'm working on getting bamboo for a stringer to put over it. So, it's just going to have the fabric with this nice, good-looking bamboo. And the idea for that is largely the fact that it simplifies the finishing step for us. A way to make it look nice without much additional work. And we have one board I made that was fabric top and bottom, and it just looked so good, and I don't have it here to show you because I got someone on to write it, but I'm really happy. So this is the latest we've got for the pressing station. We've got the two 6-ton jacks. And we have the 3D printed mold, which has got the top and bottom CNC'd out of MDF. We've got these press frames, which are made out of 2x4s with those joints on it, and then it's actually wrapped in fiberglass to make it really strong. The whole frame is sitting on a dolly. It's actually screwed to a dolly, so it's easy to move around. And underneath, it's got this compartment, which both raises the working table up to a good height and acts as a storage for the plies. And I've got these holes, so this is the bolt hole pattern, and I've got this really long bit, and we actually drill all the way down through. And before we take the board out of the mold, I'm actually able to drill out the bolt hole pattern with it still under pressure. This is not an ideal way to do it with such a thick distance, but because I drilled all the holes up from this side to the top, so on the top the bolt hole pattern is not as accurate. On the bottom side where it's going to drill, it is still accurate. So let's get gluing up. Yeah, okay. So let's get some glue on here. Plenty. So one of the things I want to do is figure out a way to make it so the board won't move around when I'm doing a glue up. Because one of the issues with that is I've got the finished surface on this side, and look, because it moved around, I got a bunch of glue on it already. So that's not what we want. So this goes there. See what I just did? I just left a whole bunch of glue out there. All right. Make sure we don't leave glue spots. Okay. Make sure this fabric's all nice and dry as well. Okay. Oh man. So this goes here. This goes here, and this goes like that. All right. So I did it the wrong way. I put the stringer on what I was going to make the top, and the top is now what the bottom was going to be. But it's all good. So all right, so there we go. It just closes up nice and tight. The CNC mold is actually really, really slick. It makes this process just a lot more effective. And we're not trying to crank down, you know, the mold to make the system, you know, to bend everything into compliance. It just pushes until it stops. It's really nice. The CNC mold makes a huge difference. I'm sure a 3D printed mold will be just as nice. So now I just gotta wait, and I'll pull that out tomorrow, and it'll look really cool. So one of the things I'm having trouble with right now is, I'm sure you noticed during the glue up, I'm getting glue all over the place. The plies are sliding around, and it's kind of a mess. So what I'm thinking about doing is making a little vacuum table that's just big enough to hold, that's just big enough to hold 2 stringers side by side. That way I can do the 2 stringers side by side in a glue up, and that's big enough to hold down the full sheets. And if the vacuum table is just big enough for these 2 sheets, and it's say like 1 inch tall or 2 inches tall, instead of when I'm rolling over, I won't be hitting anything on the side of the table because it'll all be raised up, and I think it'll just make it a lot easier. The only thing is that it'll also make it noisier, and it's kind of, you know, cathartic to be able to just come out and be kind of chill and press out a deck, and with a vacuum I think it disrupts that a lot. So I might want to try to find another solution, but a vacuum table would be a pretty sweet way of doing it, to make sure nothing moves, you're able to put down your glue, and you're not getting glue on anything else. But that's, I think, is the biggest hiccup in the process so far. Other than that, I think this is ready to be just churning out a deck a day. So we got enough wood here for, I think, about 25 decks. So about a month worth of daily pressings, and we'll see how, at the end of the month, we'll see how it turns out. And if we decide we need a vacuum table, I'll make a vacuum table. So there we are. We're pressing up these fabric bullnose mini cruisers. Longboard technology, over and out.